Every day the planet screams in silence. Resources vanish before your eyes, and yet nobody dares to challenge the endless waste burning through everything that powers our lives. It feels like a trap, right? Growth hitting the ceiling of scarcity, profits crashing into limits no one admits, industries choking on their own excess. The pain of watching opportunities slip through your hands, knowing that the system is failing you. This isn't just frustration, it's fury boiling beneath the surface, a raw call demanding action. And here's the brutal truth: no one's coming to save the future. If you want change, if you want to crush the nightmare of global resource scarcity, then it's on you to break the rules of how we've done things before. You're trapped between what's possible and what the system tells you is allowed, and you refuse to be a slave to those illusions any longer. Look around. The resources we rely on, water, land, energy, aren't running out because they're missing. They're gone because everything's locked in ownership, greed, waste, and inefficiency. The value sits dead, unused, or locked in silos that bleed opportunity. Yet, in the rubble, a revolution pulses with untapped power, the sharing economy, but not the tired, shallow, rent your bike or borrow my drill of yesterday. This economy has a beating heart, rooted in radical connection, trust beyond borders, and fierce optimization of what already exists. Here lies the secret weapon, the way to slash scarcity with precision that the market giants refuse to imagine. They bury this power because it shifts control, because freeing resources means freeing people. If you want to step into that future, you need to stop thinking small and start thinking systemic and strategic. The first command is clear: identify wasted assets you never considered. Realize that every unused car, every empty room, every idle hand holds the energy to flip scarcity on its head. Don't just skim the surface. Dig deep. Look at industries suffocating on inventories or supply chains stuck in brutal inefficiency, and own the problem with an obsession. Map the invisible connections. Find how the physical and digital worlds can smash through boundaries and multiply resource use tenfold. This is not a side hustle. This is a complete mindset overthrow, where sharing isn't charity. It's the front line of survival and innovation. Stop waiting for governments or corporations. Build networks that radically redistribute access. Rally shareholders who hang on legacy models, and turn them into believers in fluid ownership. This will sting. This will challenge every comfortable notion you've held about wealth and control. But that sting is the birth pang of a new era. You have the power to turn empty assets into capital that powers impact. Next, weaponize technology to enforce trust and transparency unlike anything before. Sharing breaks without trust. The old systems have failed because they assign trust based on status and paper guarantees. You need protocols, smart, unbreakable, decentralized, that guarantee fairness and accountability, no human biases included. This is your call to build or invest in trust engines that restructure economic interactions. Forget traditional finance. Build the infrastructure that lets strangers collaborate as though they're family, where ownership isn't fenced but flexible, fluid, tailored. This will shape a new kind of capitalism. Capitalism that thrives on connection, not coercion. That rewards agility, not entitlement. Using AI, blockchain, reputation systems. Create seamless markets where scarcity fades because access is universal and frictionless. Every investment you make to deepen trust converts silent idle potential into roaring engines of progress. Then, do not forget the people at the core. Sharing is human, not just mechanical. Bring empathy and fierce empowerment to your model. Help founders and investors understand that the real resources are not the physical assets, but the creative energies and skills trapped under toxic competition and isolation. Build communities, not just platforms. Create ecosystems where founders lift each other up, where investors collaborate on missions bigger than portfolios. Tap into the liberating force that transcends nationality and old loyalties. Create a global tribe that fuels each other's becoming, not a market that devours its own tail. This is the only way scale works. Without this culture of co-creation and trust, sharing remains a whisper, not a roar. Your role as a leader, founder, or investor is to demand this culture relentlessly. Force it into every corner of your network. Never underestimate the power of small, hyper-local sharing that feeds into this global ecosystem. You think scarcity is only a global problem? No, it's personal. Streets in every city hold mini economies of excess and need. Take ownership of these microcosms. Dominate these local loops of sharing with innovative models, flexible, fast, efficient. Harness data to predict demand before waste piles up. Use community as your fierce shield and sharp edge. When these cities thrive on sharing, they become unstoppable magnets for global capital and talent. This is your proving ground, your laboratory for a new model of globalization, where borders don't divide but empower distributed resource flows. In these micro battles, you win the larger war. Lastly, disrupt old power players with relentless innovation. They will resist. They will cry, impossible, and regulation. You answer with execution, not excuses. Build alternatives that run circles around legacy systems. Deregulate in practice by creating so much value and efficiency that rules crumble. Champion policies that encourage sharing, but do it on your terms, through proof, through undeniable success stories that no one can ignore. This is not about waiting for permission. This is about rewriting the playbook in real time, crafting a future that serves the few who dare to rise and free the many who will follow. Your investment, your ventures, your leadership will become the blueprint for rewriting globalization itself. More dynamic, more interconnected, more human. If the current world suffocates in scarcity, it's because it forgets the radical freedom in sharing. You are the storm, the fire, the movement that will fuse individuality with unity, technology with empathy, power with purpose. Tear down illusions that say scarcity is inevitable. Connect fiercely. Share wildly. Build relentlessly. The future is not handed to you. It is wrenched from the grip of the old, with every bold, uncompromising act you make. Never stop pushing, because scarcity fades in the shadow of those who dare to rewrite the rules. This is your battleground. Win it.